How do you be courageous? Well, first of all, you have to know what courage is. And in this video, I'm going to explain it to you. We know how it looks. That's how we always explain what anything is, how it looks, how people look when they're courageous. But what is it inside of you? You don't know. So you can't just be courageous. It's like self-discipline. What is that? Well, it's when I know what it looks like. I know it's when you make yourself do and so. But how do you make yourself do stuff, right? And how do you make yourself be courageous when you need to? Courage is an important quality, but I never use the word because for me, it really doesn't exist. Because it looks like courage, but what it really is fear. What? I thought courage was doing something that you feared. And then you did it anyway. It looks like that, but it's just because there's an underlying fear that's even bigger than what you can see. So let's say you wanna make those sales calls and you're really afraid to put yourself out there, and you don't like it because you're afraid to get rejected, right? All the time. It feels awful. Right? And then there's this other guy who seems to have the same fears, but he just does it anyway. Oh, he's courageous, right? I should be more courageous. And then we put ourselves in a stupid situation where we should be something that we don't know what is. We just know how it looks. And we naturally conclude that the reason why I'm not more courageous is that because there's something wrong with me. Because I'm not as good as a person as the guy next to me. And then we just, fall back into self-blaming or trying and hoping and wishing. So let's get this clear. Let's talk about what is courage. And this guy over here, he's not just being courageous, some magical quality. He's actually more afraid of the fact that it might actually hurt him more not to make those calls, not to go for it. That's why he seems to be courageous. So what is courage? Is being more afraid of what happens when you don't act in spite of the little fear you have, right? It's being more afraid than the guy who's not courageous. Another example: say you wanna lose weight, so you wanna start working out, but you're afraid that when you get down into the gym, that people are gonna look at you, you're overweight like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds, and you're going to look like an idiot, or so you feel. You don't know how much people appreciate the fact that you're doing that. I always get the greatest respect for people who just, do it anyway. Why do they do it anyway? Why do they show up at a gym with people with muscles and looking good, and they look, like something that you would point your fingers at? Oh, you're a loser. Oh, how did you get yourself into that? Oh, you must be a weak person. Or you have no self-discipline. You can't say no to yourself. You're out of control. If you're overweight, you know what that is about. You're an expert at coming up with all the things that people say about you, right? And all those things become extra likely that people are going to think to themselves if you're in the gym. So why do some people show up anyway? Because they're more afraid of what will happen if they shy away from that. They're so tired of being overweight. It's become so important for them to work out that they show up anyway. So what is that? They're more afraid of what will happen if they don't show up than they are of what people might think. Right? That's courage. Oh, so no, that is courage. That's the mere definition of it. Why would you do something that seems scary? Because you're more afraid of something else. You can talk all day about the wonderful motivations and the great life you want to have in the future when you're slim or when you make those sales calls, but no amount of positive thinking or positive vision can drive you through the immediate pain right in front of you. Because that pain right in front of you, the rejection in the phone calls when you're trying to cold call somebody, or the possible rejection in the gym, is immediate, is here. And there's a huge part of the brain that reacts to that. The mid-size of the brain, your mammal brain, you could say, and the reptile brain. So the frontal lobes, which is your uniquely human part that tries to discipline the two other parts, it can't do it. You must have something to be truly courageous. You must be willing, and this is the key. Because now that we know what courage is, let's talk about how to actually be courageous and how to get there if you're not there. If you want to go work out in the gym, but you're too afraid to, well, you need to ask yourself what will happen if you don't. If you keep putting that putting that as the first priority. What will happen if that keeps running like that? What is it? What are the negative consequences of shying back, of holding back, of the cold calling and the something? And that willingness to ask yourself those questions instead of trying to, trying to push it away. It will be all right anyway. I got enough customers. Or, I'll go running. I'll do something else that people don't, I'll buy that, something for my home, some workout equipment for my home. And you don't. And you're not going to use it because you're not in the environment of working out, right? So what will happen? And then you're willing to think the thoughts of the terrible things that will happen over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, right? And you're willing to stay in that. You're willing, again, as we've been talking about in some of the other videos, you're willing to put the pain on you in order to get what you want. Right? This is not positive thinking at any level. This is negative thinking. And that's how to be courageous. It's like, why would you go into a battle? Why did anyone ever, by their own free will, I know the soldiers most just want to run home, right? But by your own free will, why would you go into a battle that will kill you? Because there's something that you're more afraid of. You're afraid of being enslaved by the opposing power, right? You're afraid of the life you're going to live. Think about Braveheart, right? Of course you can run. And when you're lying in your beds many years from now, right? Just one chance to come back and tell the English that they can take our lives, right? But they cannot take our freedom. That is just more important, freedom, than my life. That's what builds courage. That is courage. It's something more important. So you have to find that to be courageous, to push through the barriers of your comfort zone. Because that comfort zone is the things you do every day that keeps you in it, that perpetuates every problem, every challenge you have. And you must be able to break out of it. And that process of doing that is not just saying I should take action. The process is being constantly aware of and focused on what will happen if you don't always do it, if you don't do what you're afraid of. What is the consequence of shying back to the immediate fear right here and now? What's the consequence of that in your entire life? This can be like, it's just built into your nervous system because you see it everywhere. You see it in your relationship. What happens if I'm not able to focus on taking the challenge right here and now? What happens with my body if I'm not able to act on the bigger fear instead of the small fear? What happens in my business or in my job, in my career if I'm not, it's everywhere. So once you get this on a fundamental level, you start operating from that all the time. And then you're unstoppable. Instead of being, I should do this, I should do that. It's not about should. Stop doing that to yourself. It's about focusing on the bigger pain, always. That's the key. That's the upgrade to your psychology that will absolutely make you, get what you want. And remember to subscribe. Forgot to tell you that. Yeah, the details of the YouTube thing. Comment if you have anything to say, anything to ask me, anything. And remember to subscribe. Go download our free course on time management if you feel like it. And then I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for listening.